Chris, how important is it for you to be exonerated?
I'm able to hold my head up a little bit higher. I'm able to feel better about myself. It's an amazing feat to feel this way, and it's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my life.
What does this mean for your future?
My future is just bigger and brighter.
Can you fully say that this nightmare is behind you?
I don't know if you can ever say the nightmare is truly behind me, because I spent 20 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit, and I have so much still that I'm working through and dealing with, every week, and trying to make my life the best that I can. So I can't say that.
Vanessa, we spoke with Vanessa, and I guess I spoke with Kevin Richardson of the Central Park 5 in New York. He also made a false confession. How does this happen?
Well, people don't really understand that, police use psychologically coercive techniques during interrogations that end up causing innocent people to falsely confess. So there have been 367 now DNA exonerations. Chris is the 367th person to be proven innocent with DNA testing. And in 28% of those cases, people ended up during custodial interrogation confessing to crimes they didn't commit. The tactics that police use during interrogations are psychologically coercive. Police are allowed to lie to people they're interrogating and say, we have your fingerprints, we have DNA at the scene. And innocent people think, great, as soon as they do testing, they're going to see that I didn't do it. This interrogation is so stressful. If I tell them what they want to hear now, then I can put an end to it, and then I'll be cleared when they do further investigation. But once you make an admission, that further investigation never comes. In Chris Tapp's case, DNA testing was done and showed that there was evidence from the crime scene that did not belong to him and almost certainly came from the assailant. But instead of stopping and saying, hey, we have the wrong person, they tried to make the evidence fit. They coerced a confession out of him that fit the evidence and went along with the prosecution, even though the DNA was saying he's innocent.
So, Chris, what advice would you have for someone who finds themselves being interrogated by police for a crime they did not commit?
Always have an attorney present, and that's the biggest thing in this world. Tell them that you will not speak to them without an attorney present. And
right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning. Do not try in the middle or the end or anything else. As soon as they would say, we want to talk to you, you say, I need to go get an attorney, and I will not speak without an attorney present.
I know you talked about this earlier, but what does the future hold for you?
The future's wide open for me. I mean, I'm actually truly now an innocent man. And it's out there. The community, the world can see. It's no more questions, no more what ifs. It's actually truly a fact. So the world is open. I can be able to go get a passport now. I'll be able to go hunting and not be that felon with I can't have gun rights, or I can't get a passport to go to see other parts of the world.
You can vote.
Yeah. So the world's open to me.
Carol Dodge has been a huge advocate for you from the beginning. What does that mean to you?
The Dodge family and Carol has been amazing. To have their support and to have their truly faith and understanding and belief in me, it's one of the most heartfelt things in this world.
Vanessa, last question. How can people watching at home get involved?
Well, we've seen when They See Us came out on Netflix, it really has galvanized the country and the world. People are understanding that wrongful convictions occur. We have 2.3 million people in prison in this country, and if you took a really conservative estimate and said, what if we get it wrong 1% of the time, that means 23,000 people today in prison are actually innocent. And so, we want people to get involved. We want people to vote. Local elections matter. Who your district attorney is matters. In most places, a district attorney is elected, and there are progressive district attorneys running for office now throughout the country who are saying, let's put an end to mass incarceration, let's enact reforms to prevent wrongful convictions and to reduce the amount of people who are going through the criminal justice system and the type of conduct that we're criminalizing.
I know I said last question. I have one more for you. Because it was mentioned that they originally may have sought the death penalty.
Yeah,
in your case...
I'm glad you said that, because it's really critical. I mean, the state this was a capital case. The state sought the death penalty and they obtained a first-degree murder conviction. And so Chris could have been executed, It's just because he ends up getting sentenced to life in prison. And when statistics have shown that 4.1% of people, a conservative estimate on death row today, are actually innocent, that means we have over 100 people in this country facing execution for crimes they didn't commit. And Chris could have been one of them. The state sought the death penalty.
And do you ever stop and think, what if you had received the death penalty?
I have, and it's one of the most scariest feelings in the world when the judge said he'll come back with a sentence, and that was on the table for me. That was one of the most surreal moments of having to explain to my mother right before sentencing that I might put me to death for something I didn't do, and it hurts. It truly hurts to have to live that and feel it and to know that could have happened to me. Thank God it didn't.
And you're here today.
Yeah.
I mean, I do want to add one other thing, that we really need to have accountability in the criminal justice system when wrongful convictions occur or other type of official misconduct. We learned yesterday that the federal authorities are not going to proceed with the prosecution against the officers in New York involved in the murder of Eric Gardner. And so, we need to have accountability when things go wrong and when official misconduct occurs. And so it is a great day, and Chris has his freedom, but we can't just say the system corrected itself. We have to make changes, and we have to hold people accountable.